Welcome back, everybody. So, as you can see from the title, I'm turning 43 tomorrow, actually. And never married, no kids, and I've been single for a very long time. So let's talk about that one. If you're in the same shoes as me, in your 40s, never been married, no kids, then this video is for you. Do weddings make you uncomfortable? Does holding someone else's baby makes you uncomfortable? Do you have triggers when you're invited to go somewhere and it's full of couples, or you even go to church and all you see is married people with their kids watching service together while you're alone in the corner over there? Do you wonder why you're still alone after you think you've done everything right? Or do you scroll through social media wondering about how they came to have that life, that family, those kids, that house, traveling as a family, and yet you're there scrolling through their lives, you wishing you'd have their life? Do you feel like you're cursed and that you're doomed to be single forever? Do you think that God's plan for your life is singleness and he just forgot to tell you? All of these things. If you wondered any of these things, then I'm in the same boat as you. Did you know that in the Bible, several women went through these things? Several women have been documented in the Bible that they have struggled because of no marriage or no children. I'll give you a few examples. There's Hannah in 1 Samuel 1. She was married, but she was unable to have children. And she experienced intense emotional disturbances. Like, she wept a lot and she would not eat. It was described that she was bitterness in soul. She wept and prayed before God at the temple a lot, and her rivals mocked her for being barren. Her anguish was so visible that the priest thought that she was drunk, but she was actually praying in deep distress. Does that sound familiar? How about another one? There's Rachel in Genesis 30. She famously said to Jacob, "Give me children or I shall die." That statement shows intense emotional desperation over infertility. And like Sarah, her distress led to family conflict. So that's the next one, Sarah in Genesis 16:21. She was also barren for many years. She expressed frustration and despair over being barren. She even went as far as giving her servant, Hagar, to her husband, Abraham, because she felt hopeless that she couldn't conceive. Talk about taking things into your own hands, right? But, her pain created tension in her household. She even laughed when an angel visited her to tell her she would bear a child. She laughed. Would you laugh if an angel visited you and told you you'd have children or get married? I don't know about you, but if I was visited by an angel with that kind of message, I would 100% be happy and accept that news. I wouldn't laugh. My point here is that these weren't weak women. They were faithful women, but they still ached. They still struggled. And I believe it's because we associate it to the following: marriage equals security, children equals legacy, and motherhood equals identity. Here's another one that struggled with singleness. It's Jephthah's daughter in Judges 11. She mourned her virginity and the fact that she would never marry or bear children, to the point where she and her friends went to the mountains to wail, to weep because of this. Like it was a pilgrimage of some sort, or some sort of funeral, because of her singleness. That's intense. That grief was connected to knowing that she would never marry or have any children. And that is like the fact that she ended up going to the mountains with her friends just to weep and mourn. That's how I feel. I wish I could go to a mountain right now and scream on the top of my lungs. But to me, I was never confirmed by God that I would never marry or have children. So I still have hope there. Yeah, so that's the difference. But still, women in the Bible did struggle with that very thing. But yeah, the cultural reality in the Bible, especially the Old Testament, is like marriage equals protection, children equals security, motherhood equals honor, and lineage equals identity. But let's shift towards the men for one moment. They did also struggle with the same thing in the Bible. There's Abraham in Genesis 15. Before Isaac was born, Abraham lamented to God, "What will you give me since I remain childless?" In ancient culture, having no heir meant that there's no legacy, no continuation of God's promises, no social security in old age. His cry showed real emotional distress over his childlessness. And then there was Jeremiah. God specifically told Jeremiah not to marry or have children in Jeremiah 16:2. He is often called the weeping prophet because he lamented constantly about that. He felt rejected and isolated. He even cursed the day he was born in Jeremiah 20:14. His singleness was tied to his calling, and it came with an emotional cost. So even if you're called to be single, people still struggle. So it's not an easy feat to be single for a very long time. So let's connect the dots with God's character. Throughout scripture, God describes his relationship with his people in marital terms. In the Old Testament, God calls himself a husband to Israel. He speaks of jealousy, faithfulness, betrayal. He speaks of jealousy, faithfulness, betrayal, restoration. These are all marital terms. In the New Testament, the church is called the bride, and Christ is described as the bridegroom. The point I'm making is that human marriage is not the ultimate reality. It is the shadow of a deeper covenant reality. So when a woman longs to be known, to be chosen, and covenant bound in marriage, that echoes something eternal. Scripture shows God grieving rejection, rejoicing over his people, calling them back, pursuing them again and again. It means that desire is not beneath God. He also has desires. And if we are made in his image, then relational belonging is not a flaw to suppress. It is something to steward, because the deepest layer of that ache is covenantal union, to be fully known, fully chosen, fully secure. And no human can fully satisfy that, let's be honest. Only God can. So yeah, I'm turning 43 tomorrow. Never had children, never been married, never been proposed to, never chosen, and like seriously single for a very long time. And through it all, there's this one scripture that always kept coming up to my heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make straight your path. So the reason why you and I, we long to be fully known, to be fully chosen, and to be fully loved is because you were created by a God who longs to be fully known and fully loved by you. So if you can relate to that, if you are in the same boat, single in your 40s, never been married, no children, because there is a difference, whether you have children or not, there is a difference. And if you disagree, then let's have a chat about that, because the people who are divorced and have children that are single in their 40s and tell me, I know how you feel. Oh, I know I'm struggling too. It's not the same kind of struggle. So this is mostly for the women out there, even the men who were never married and never had children. If you are that person, let me know. Comment down below. Let me know that I'm not alone, and I know that you know you're not alone. And we can share our struggles, because why not, right? And yeah, thank you for watching. If you think this video helped you, share it with someone else that you think it could help. That way it's going to help me grow my channel and my awareness that I'm trying to bring to the people in the same boat as me. And yeah, it's fun to discuss it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.